Hello everyone and welcome back to Easy Natural English with Liam. As usual, I'll be speaking to you in easier but natural English so you can get used to English in a natural way. And today I want to talk to you about the weather. I have talked about the weather before in previous episodes, but you know it's a very important topic. Because if you go traveling in an English-speaking country, or if English-speaking people come to your country, they're going to talk about the weather. You know, it's a very common conversation starter. It's a very common way to start a conversation just by saying, hey, nice weather today, huh? So this year, the weather has been a little bit crazy, a little bit different. I mean, I guess for a few years now, because of global warming, because of climate change, it's been sort of up and down quite a lot over the past few years. But I think this year, many countries have had heat waves. So heat wave, you know, like a wave on the ocean, heat wave is when you suddenly get hot weather. So it's kind of, you can't explain it, just suddenly gets very hot. And it seems like a lot of Japan, you know, I live in Okinawa in Japan, and it seems like a lot of Japan has had a bit of a heat wave because I teach online on italki, perhaps you know already. If you don't know, check the link in the description of the YouTube video or in the podcast to take an online lesson with me. So I teach on italki, so I have students in lots of different countries, and I get to hear about what's happening with the weather in different places. And it seems like this year, the mainland of Japan, so like Tokyo and Osaka, and I have some students in Chiba and a few different places. It seems like it's been really hot this year, like really, really hot. You know, we live in Okinawa, which is closer to the equator. So equator is the line that goes around the world. It's the very hot area, the equator, the tropical zone. We live closer to the equator. Okinawa is very far south. So you would think it's been hotter here, but actually it's been cooler. When I look at the temperature in mainland Japan, it seems to be hotter. And here in Okinawa, it's been cooler. So yeah, it's a little bit of a different kind of situation than normal, perhaps. A lot of my students are telling me that it's like, 35 degrees or more. Whereas here in Okinawa, it's been more like 30 degrees most days. And today's actually only 27 degrees. So yeah, it's been a bit of a different year in terms of temperature. And then we just had a week of like typhoons here. Before the typhoon, the weather has been really nice. It's been nice and clear. And like I said, cooler than usual, not too hot. Nice sunny days. But then, over the past week, we've had typhoons hit. If you're one of my Japanese listeners, then you'll understand typhoon because it's very close to the Japanese word. Maybe some other languages you don't know what a typhoon is. So a typhoon is when you get lots of wind and lots of rain. And it usually happens in more tropical places or subtropical places. But we just had one, so I had to make some preparations. I actually didn't hear about the alert. I didn't hear the warning that a typhoon was coming, so I didn't know. And then I looked out of the window and I thought, looks like we're going to have a bit of a storm. Looks like we're going to have a typhoon. So I had to very quickly bring everything from outside into the house. So, for example, we have some chairs and a table outside. And if the wind hits those, then they would be, carried away. Or perhaps they could blow into the window or, into something else. So I had to, move those. I also had to move the ladder. A ladder is a thing that you climb up when you want to get to a high place. So I had to bring the ladder in, bring the tables and chairs inside. And I also brought my weights in here. I have some weights that I exercise with in the garden, and I was worried that if they get wet, they would rust. And rust is like the orange stuff that you get on metal. If your metal gets wet and then you leave it, it will become rusty. So I didn't want my weights to get rusty, so I brought those inside too. But yeah, the rain came very quickly, so I had to very quickly bring everything inside. So yeah, this year, typhoons are normal in Okinawa, but there was kind of record amount of rainfall. Rainfall means the amount of rain that you get in one day or 1 year. So it could be 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters or something. That's rainfall. And yeah, Okinawa had some record amounts of rainfall within a short period of time. So the rain came down very quickly and there was a lot of rain in a short period of time. So yeah, it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary with such irregular temperatures and irregular rainfall. Personally, I'm a bit worried about climate change. Actually, at university, I studied ecology. Ecology is a type of biology where you look at environment and animals and bacteria and many different things in nature. So I had to study environment a little bit. And the more I learnt about climate change, the more kind of scared I got and the more serious I realized it is. I think a lot of people think climate change, this global warming, they think it's something that's going to affect us in the future, but actually it's affecting us now. It's having a big impact on humans and nature now. Many animals are going extinct, and extinct means all of that animal dies and you have none left. The whole species dies. So many animals are going extinct, that we don't know about. Lots of people know about famous animals like pandas and things, but there's many small animals that maybe you don't know about, like frogs and snakes and rodents, which is kind of rats and mice and stuff. There's many things going extinct, plants too. And yeah, as you can see, these kind of poorer countries, the developing countries, which there are a lot in this tropical zone, they have a lot of trouble when they're hit by natural disasters due to climate change. So yeah, it's a little bit scary what's happening with the climate and with the weather. So who knows what's going to happen. Hopefully our governments will change some things and we might start using energy in a different way. And yeah, hopefully the weather will go back a bit more back to the way it should be or what's normal. But yeah, so as usual, I think it's good if you try to pay attention to some of the words I've used today. I've talked a lot about different words about weather because, as I said, people talk a lot about weather in English, and maybe you know how to say, oh, it's hot, oh, it's cold. But now, yeah, when somebody starts the conversation about weather with you, you see, today I've been speaking for about 9 minutes. So there's much more you can say. You don't just have to say, oh, it's hot. So if someone says, oh, it's hot, then you can say, oh, yes, climate change is quite a problem, isn't it? Wow, this person's English is very good, talking about difficult topics. Yeah, and you can talk to them about different types of weather patterns and what you do in different situations. I told you, because we had a typhoon, I had to make some preparations. Yeah, perhaps when it gets very hot, so recently this year has been very hot, you also need to make some preparations, or you need to do some things to try and combat the heat. So you need to perhaps use a fan, use an air conditioner, eat ice cream. I don't know if eating ice cream helps, but it feels good. Yeah, trying to have like cold things, drinking lots of water. So I hope you're all doing that, because I think most countries this year have been a bit hot. So I hope you're getting plenty of water. Well, if you're in the northern hemisphere, in the north part of the world. If you're in the southern hemisphere, it's going to be like winter now, so you probably don't have to think about this, but yeah, a lot of countries do. Anyway, thank you all very much for listening today. Please subscribe and like on the YouTube video. Please review and follow the podcast. Tell all your friends, and I will see you all back here next time.